Almy down here.
Maybe that's the way you do them around here.
And you don't have 2.5 feet of snow.
Well, I hate to. No, that's not fair. It's not any more fair than what he
Actually,
did.
we probably will take it in a ways just to give it. Probably go up there around the curve a little bit. Anybody here from parks or?
Excuse me.
Oh, good. What's your recommendation?
Whatever you want to do, we're here for you.
I'll tell you what, I like that kind of attitude. I don't know what to expect around the bend up there. Is it just open out, or?
It's pretty much phragmites and grass like that all the way until you get to the beach.
Okay, well, we're not going to go all the way to the beach, but I think what we might do is just get up out of these backyards here, just in case it lands in somebody's backyard and a cat jumps on it. Oh. They'd have to replace somebody's cat. Or whatever. Well, I see a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. I'm Ed Clark. I'm president of the Wildlife Center of Virginia, and we'd like to thank our colleagues for making the park available to us for this. We're actually bringing back a passage peregrine falcon that has been with us for a while. It came from over in Accomack County, but honestly, this bird can get back to Accomack County faster than we could drive to Accomack County if that's where it wants to go. But I suspect this bird has Florida on the brain, which is not an altogether bad idea, I have to say. This bird was found on the ground and had apparently either had a collision injury or had some sort of other encounter that caused it to have an eye problem, some soft tissue damage, but the good news was no broken bones, nothing real serious. The eye problem was treated with ointments and salves. It was given anti-inflammatories for the swellings and the muscle issues that were going on. And it was generally just given supportive care, and he healed. I mean, that's just the bottom line. That's what happens. In the wild, it doesn't have the luxury of being able to just get better on its own. And in the captive situation, we can afford the animals. It works out well. Do you want me to put that on?
Please.
Excellent. All right, here. I'm actually gonna run that up underneath so we don't end up with bird tangled in it. Is it all on where it needs to be?
It's ready to go.
Okay. For those of you, anybody here never seen one of our releases before? Oh, good. Wow. Rookies. Excellent. 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 Well, this is not quite as dramatic as some of them, in the sense that the animal we're releasing is a little smaller than some of the ones we often release, but it's no less special. For many of you who are birders, and whoops, that'll sound up just really nice on the tape. For many of you who are birders, you understand that the peregrine falcon for many years was an endangered species, along with the osprey and the brown pelican and the bald eagle, driven to the brink of extinction by proliferation of DDT in the environment and other chlorinated chemicals. And back in about 1970, we finally got around to banning DDT. And most folks think it was to save peregrine falcons and pelicans and ospreys, but the fact is that back in 1970, the National Institute of Health was looking for how far this stuff had gone into the environment, and they found measurable amounts of DDT in 100% of the human tissue samples taken at that time. Now, some of you all weren't around during the early 70s, but a whole bunch of us were. And those chemical residues remain in our bodies. They're not the type of thing that just flush out. And they decided that chemicals that were that pervasive and that invasive needed to go, and DDT, which truly was a miracle chemical of its time and has saved probably hundreds of thousands of lives by giving people the ability to control mosquitoes, which are vectors of disease. It also had a real dark side. And the peregrine falcon is one of the incredible birds that was a victim of that, not so much because of its direct ingestion of the pesticide, but because the peregrine eats other birds. And those birds eat insects, and those insects are contaminated with insecticide, and so that pesticide moved right up the food chain, and so as each little bird ate 100 bugs, that concentrated the pesticide 100 times, and as this peregrine ate scores of birds in a month, that would further concentrate the chemical in the bird's body, and eventually, as this product builds up, it inhibits the ability of these birds to metabolize calcium, which means that the females can't draw calcium from their systems to make a good solid eggshell. And so the shells of these birds' eggs, when they would lay the eggs, were so paper thin, and I've actually seen some of the eggs from that time, and the ability to see that and compare it to a healthy current egg, it's quite dramatic. So literally putting this, this very fragile egg into a nest of sticks and then sitting on it was just about the end of it. And oftentimes those eggs turned out to be infertile in the first place. So with the passage of the Endangered Species Act, with the banning of things like DDT, and with very aggressive law enforcement efforts to protect habitats, to protect these birds from direct and indirect damage, slowly but surely the risks minimized. And then back in the late 70s, Virginia started a very aggressive program to reintroduce the peregrine falcon to Virginia. A lot of them were released down here in the Tidewater area. Quite a few of them were released in the 80s and early 90s up in Shenandoah National Park and various other places, the Mount Rogers National Recreation Area, various places like that. And today we actually have a reproducing population of peregrine falcons. And there are about 20 nests, most of which are right in this immediate area, found everywhere from bridges to downtown towers to some of the crow's nests in the mothballed fleet here at Hampton Roads. And the birds have made a remarkable recovery, but not without human help. In fact, every single one of the nests that we know is on a man-made structure of one type or another. So that says a lot for what conservation can do if we care enough to really put the time and energy into it. And it's a long-haul process. Conservation, and particularly those of us in the conservation field professionally, whether it's law enforcement or resource management or wildlife medicine, it's not a field for sprinters. You've got to be in it for the long haul if you ever expect to make any type of difference at all. So this bird has been fortunate because it was found and brought to the Wildlife Center of Virginia, which is the place I'm fortunate enough to work and lucky enough to have co-founded 27 years ago. So some of our employees and staff members weren't even around when the Wildlife Center was started, which makes me feel certifiably older than dirt. But we still have a wonderful team of people. The Wildlife Center is a teaching hospital for wildlife medicine. So in addition to caring for 2,500 wild animals a year, we actually train veterinarians and veterinary students from every vet school in the United States and Canada. And over the years, we've trained veterinary professionals from 32 countries. Right now, as an example, we have an intern, a postdoctoral intern there from Mexico. Well, actually, our postdoc intern is from Canada. Our senior veterinary intern is from Mexico. And a special one-year intern in clinical medicine is from Estonia. So we've got quite the international team. And the way we take advantage of that is we celebrate all of their national holidays. And so there's always a party going on at the Wildlife Center. But a lot of the work that we do, while we care about individual animals, and we certainly care a lot about this peregrine falcon, a lot of the work we do is not only to fix the individual animals, but to find out what environmental problems have contributed to this individual or to the species or the population being threatened in the first place. Some of the work we've done over the last almost 3 decades now, boy, that's a mouthful, has been to identify pesticides such as granular carbofuran that was killing eagles here in Virginia. The first eagle ever identified as a victim of that was brought to us on a Friday afternoon in 1985. And it took us almost 20 years to finally get that product banned nationwide. We got it banned in Virginia, and Virginia led the way in getting that product eliminated from all markets, all uses in the United States. And that effort, which started with that one bird, ended up saving the lives every year of over 2 million birds, which is what EPA estimated that product killed when used according to label directions. So a lot of the times we're finding out what these problems are, and we're giving voice to the birds and to the mammals and to the reptiles and to the amphibians, because when we speak about conservation, it's not just because we have an opinion, not just because we have a philosophy or a guiding dream or mission. It's because we have dirty hands from taking care of these birds. We understand from hands-on experience what's happening to the animals. We use their individual case histories